About this time last year, I published a video, 5 lessons I had learned from the garden. And what's so interesting about that video is it actually, I didn't realize it at the time, but it actually informed all of my garden goals for the 2024 gardening season. And so as I'm sitting here in January, which is generally my month of reflection, I was thinking to myself, gosh, those two things are so closely tied. And also, by setting goals for the 2024 gardening season, I was actually shocked by how many I was able to achieve. So what I decided to do today is I want to walk through garden goals, not just like, hey, what's our goal, but how to actually set goals that are based in your own reality and are also set up to help you be an incredibly successful gardener. So I want to start this conversation out by talking about, why is this even important? Why are we even having a conversation about our garden goals? And I thought to myself, what has this journey meant to me? And why would I even go through the process of setting them yet again for 2025? Well, I will tell you, the very first thing is that in this age of all sorts of information, so many social media content creators, including myself, out here doing our thing, I think it's always really important to remember, this is your garden, do what you want, and let's create your own measure of success. Because it doesn't matter what my measure of success is. What does success look like for you? That is important. What's really interesting is I was actually in the garden with a girlfriend of mine earlier in the year. And when I got there, and this is so funny, I get this a lot. I will be invited to someone's home and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about the garden, da 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 da. And when I walked into her garden, I was like, girl, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. And I think what was happening is she couldn't see how much she had achieved through the layers and the to-do list that she was mentally carrying. And so by refining a goal, what that tells our brain is, if my goal is to grow a singular, awesome tomato, well, guess what? If you grew that singular, awesome tomato, check. You have achieved your goal. Good job. And also, you now know I am a success because I have achieved this goal. And I guess I would probably double down on that and saying, even if you haven't achieved this almighty goal, that means maybe we didn't set the right goal. So when we are doing goal setting, I actually like to utilize an acronym. They're called SMART goals. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And the reason that we are kind of clustering those things together is so that we are setting ourselves up to be successful. And so let's give you an example, okay? An example of a goal might be, I want to start a vegetable garden. Okay, that is like super broad, super far reaching. If you have never started a vegetable garden, that also might be too overwhelming. So you could break it down, and you could break it down in a couple different ways. You could break it down, if you're a brand new gardener, you could say, all right, I want to grow vegetables in one 4x8 raised bed this year. Now it is very specific, it is very achievable, and you know your time frame. So another example might be, I'm actually going to give you an example from my real life in this home. I could have said, I'm going to re-landscape the front yard. Okay, that is like a massive undertaking for anyone. So instead, what I did this past year is I decided I really want to focus on my dining patio. I wanted to fill the borders with intentional choices, and I wanted it completed by fall. So let's break down SMART for my dining room patio. It was specific. I wasn't saying I'm going to re-landscape the front yard. Well, guess what? That is a huge undertaking. But a dining patio, that's pretty specific. Measurable. I knew that I was done with this goal because I have certain beds that I needed to fulfill. So when those beds were filled with conscious choices, I was complete. Achievable. Again, this is not me trying to landscape my whole garden. This is actually something I can achieve within a season. Relevant are. That is absolutely relevant because I have filmed like 90% of my videos in that front garden, and then time bound. I wanted it completed by the fall because I knew I wanted everything in place to settle in over the winter. And guess what? Check, check, check. Everything got completed. SMART goal achieved. Before we jump into my 2025 garden goals, I also wanted to just do one little final last note here for you. I was reminded this morning by Brian to admire my own mountain. And I want to leave that here because I think it is so, so, so crucial. It is not about what other creators are doing. It is not about what your neighbor is doing. Our goal creation process is so that at the end of the year, we can stand back and admire our own mountain. And it doesn't really matter if your mountain is re-landscaping your entire garden or if your mountain is simply starting a little potted herb garden. That is your mountain. And I want you to stand back at the end of the year and be like, I have achieved this. And look what I have created in my own time with my own two hands. And I have done this for me. So let's admire our own mountain. Friends, we're jumping into goal number 1. And as per usual, get naked on the internet. Okay, welcome to my side yard. Obviously, I'm on like week 3 of pruning my wisteria. This sucker is just insane. But the reason I'm in my side yard is because this area has shade, and I have been dying for a shade garden. But also on this side, it gets a ton of sun. And goal number 1 is actually to create a Brian garden. And this is one of the contenders. This is one of the spots that we're thinking of. And here is the deal with the Brian garden. Obviously, I am the face you see on this channel. However, this is not the only face that lives in this house. And right now the garden is basically 100% my madhouse. And Brian has been wanting a garden that is tailored to his desires for quite some time. Do we say what the theme is for the garden? I don't think we do. Do we save it? Do we spill it? What do we do? Okay. I'm gonna hang on to that one because I think it's gonna be really fun. But this is gonna be Brian's garden. This is one of the contenders. There's a couple other spots that we're thinking of, but I feel like this is the front runner. Funny enough, we use our side yard all the time, and it's just one of those areas that we come and go and we just traipse through it, and it always looks terrible because we never take care of it. Okay, so this is goal number 1. It is specific. It's a Brian garden. It's measurable. I know it'll be done when we have like beds carved out, and I'm going to share the process as we go. A, achievable. I think a side yard is totally achievable this year. R, relevant. It's relevant because Brian lives in the house, and so we should have a garden for him. And then T, time bound. The timeline for this is I want to see major infrastructure and pathway in this growing season. I don't expect this garden to be finished this year, but I want my major players in the garden by fall of 2025. Okay, are you ready for garden goal numero 2? Goal number 2 is actually, I'm redesigning the cut flower garden. And as you can see behind me, it is very linear. It is very straightforward. When I started this project, I was like, I am growing the maximum amount of flowers possible, which I did successfully. However, now that I've grown cut flowers for a couple of years and I've kind of gone through the ebb and flow of what I love, I'm refining this vision. And what I want is I want a cut flower garden that is a little bit less work. I want to adjust some of the pathways because what I started learning is, yes, this works really well for maximizing how much I can grow, but I like to walk from row to row. And right now, if I want to walk from, say, my dahlia row over to my snapdragon row, I've got to walk all the way down, come back here, go up there. I mean, it's not really navigatable I don't even know if that's a word, but all that to say, I'm going to restructure some things back here. I want it to feel a little bit more formal, a little bit more contained. So I'm going to redo some of the irrigation. I'm going to redo some of the beds. I'm going to add in some pathways, and I'm going to bring in the scope of what I'm maintaining, because this is just a lot for any one person to do. At the end of the day, I really have like a finite number of hours to my week, because yes, I'm obviously here on YouTube creating content, but I also have kids and a partner and actually a full-time business designing gardens for other people. So I want to make this equal parts enjoyable and as easy to maintain as humanly possible. Okay, we're actually going to head down there and I'm going to show you goal number 3. Welcome to goal number 3. And this wasn't a goal until this happened. Okay, previous to a couple months ago, we had an adorable old couple living behind us, and they had a beautiful laurel hedge, and it was very private, and I could be up here in the garden, and it didn't feel like anyone was here. Now, the home that you see behind me normally wouldn't be a big deal because we are high up, but what is a big deal is what is going on behind the home. And what you can see with that digger there is it is resting in the foundation, in the footings for an accessory dwelling unit, or a daydo, a detached accessory dwelling unit. And what that means, and we know this based on experience of this contractor working in other parts of our neighborhood, is that there will be a garage underneath and at least one very full story up top. And so what that means is this private secluded garden where I've got like a fence over here and all sorts of like gorgeous wisteria and kiwi, and then our neighbor over here who's like delightful and lovely, but this gorgeous magnolia, so feeling very private. Now we're gonna have someone staring directly into our cut flower garden, and I want to be up here and have some privacy. So all that to say, goal number 3 is privacy all along this area. And I have some ideas, but as you can tell, I need privacy and I need privacy stat. So I'm currently researching some fast growing hedging options, because, you know, budget is a concern, and obviously the quickness with which our hedge will appear. The other thing I'm thinking of doing, which actually might be kind of fun, this is like a merger of goal 2 and 3. I actually want to put a pathway right here cutting through the garden, through the cut flower garden. And instead of just having like a hedge behind me, I want to build this out into more of a decorative garden bed. So I think it's actually going to be a super fun project. But long story short, goal number 3 is get some privacy and get it quick, because this is intrusive. Goal number 4 is to eliminate access to this beautiful buffet. Okay, the rabbit situation continues. And honestly, I feel like I've gone through the various phases. Phase number 1 was like outrage. Phase number 2 was like use all of the repellents. Step number 3 was I will set up Fort Knox. Well, step number 4, that little bugger is still getting in here, and I am gonna be smart. So we've actually inherited a animal cam from a neighbor of ours, and we're gonna set it up in the garden, and I am gonna figure out once and for all where that dang bunny is coming from, and I am cutting off the buffet. And so of course, I will take you along on my Elmer Fudd adventure, but I just feel like I struggled so hard with this all year, and it was such a barrier to me enjoying this space. And I'm over it. I'm gonna enjoy my space, and that bunny, he's out of here. I won't make bunny stew, but eviction notice is being served. This last goal is brought to you by this woman right here needing an actual potting station. So goal number 5, develop a potting station. Develop some place that I can go and I can just set up shop and putter around. And it doesn't need to be anything fancy. I just need something properly functional. So I want it to be someplace that I can stand up and pot comfortably. I'm not hunched over. It's not at like my dining table in the front yard. It's just a proper get it dirty. I've got all my tools there, potting station. And bonus points if it's someplace that I can film content for all of you to join on this garden adventure that it just fills me with so much joy. So, goal number 5, a proper potting station. So my whole goal in sharing this with you is that you can also lean into your garden and figure out what are your SMART goals for the year. Because not only are SMART goals important, but I would also add on, there's 2 extra little things that have made me successful when setting goals. The first is finding accountability. And so you all are my accountability. And if you need an accountability partner, please drop it in the comments below. What goals are you hoping to achieve this year? What is on your radar? And so we can all kind of form together as a little team of how are we pushing ourselves forward in those beautiful, smart, wonderful ways. And then the last thing I would add to that list is make sure some of these goals are joy oriented, because we have one baby life to live, and joy is, it is one of those profound emotions that is going to take this life from good to great. I'm going to see you in the comments. Thank you so much for coming along. And as usual, say hello to your garden for me. It's going to be a good year.